Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, Emily Sophia, here with a very special mid-season review for you guys of Marvel and Netflix's absolute wonder and gift to mankind, Jessica Jones. So, as of this point in time, I have only seen episodes 1 through 7. So, the last one that I've seen is Top Shelf Pervert. So I've not seen the show in its entirety, and for the most part this review is going to be spoiler free, because for those of you who haven't seen the show yet, who are, taking it in your own pace, I just want to compel you all to watch the crap out of this, to get lost in this business, and then to come and talk to me, because there will be much to discuss. And I couldn't help myself, even though I haven't yet finished the season. I need to get my thoughts out now. It is so worth talking about, even from my standpoint of not having seen the whole thing. So, that is my clarification, and I will let you know as soon as I enter into any spoilery territory as far as major plot points. I don't want to injure your pure experience of the show with all of its shocks and twists and surprises. I want those to be sacred and yours alone. So, without further ado, I am going to talk about why this show is one of the best things that has ever happened to the silver screen world, and quite possibly to my own world as well. So, yeah. I knew for a fact that I was going to fall head over heels for this show, knowing that it is set in the same kind of universe and aesthetic as Marvel and Netflix's Daredevil, which was a fantastic and game-changing and paradigm-shifting tale it was just so rapturous and so different, so unique, and told such an intimate story. It's certainly different from any of the other Marvel television series. I mean, we've got, say, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., now this, and there's the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but Daredevil really struck out into territory all its own, being that we are on the ground level and dealing with characters in extremely harsh circumstances, socioeconomically, culturally, just a totally different ballgame from the Avengers and all that jazz. So, along comes Miss Jessica Jones, and even though I have never read any of the comics pertaining to her or the Alias series that the show was based on, I knew this was going to be a good thing, and I knew I was going to go all in, and so I have been riding the hype train since it first pulled out of the station. I'm not sorry that I did, because oh my goodness, this is one of the best shows that I think I have ever seen. It's been a long time since I've started a series and just found myself completely enmeshed and just so the words are not there. I cannot form them. I am just so astonished and speechless at the quality and the vicious beauty and brutality of this show and the story that it tells. I think it's far better than Daredevil, in fact. I know some other people who think the same, and it's not like you have to compare them or rank them or say that one's better than the other. Like that, that's certainly not something you need to do. But it's something that I have found to be true, as just the story so far has been consistently gaining ground and intrigue, and it has presented one of the most terrifying villains that I have ever encountered in all my years of TV watching. I mean, right up there with Hannibal Lecter and the Trinity Killer from Dexter status. He's bad news, but in such a compelling and fascinating way that you just can't get him out of your mind. And then there is, of course, the matter of Jessica Jones herself being such a harsh and abrasive and badass and lovable character through and through. Kristen Ritter portrays her with such passion, and just on a dime's turn can go from from fierce and completely shut down and guarded to absolutely vulnerable, devastated, moment after moment after moment. She takes these cues, she devours them, and what she spits right back out is the most astonishing performance that you could hope to see from a woman in television. Again, dumbfounded. And I've never been happier to feel dumb. I sit and I watch the show, and it makes me want to write and create for the rest of my life. I want to be capable of telling such a fantastic story as they are doing with this show so far. So to give you a little bit of context as to who Jessica Jones is, what she's about, and who some of the other players in the game are. So Jessica Jones is a woman of talent. Those talents are still kind of being explored and fleshed out in the show. Something that I like about Jessica Jones, the show, is the fact that they're not flaunting her skills and abilities. Namely, she has exceptional endurance, strength, and pseudo flying abilities. She can jump really high and kind of control that a little bit. So yeah, she's got this array of skills that essentially came about from a terrible accident in which she lost her parents. You know, she's got a little bit of the Batman Bruce Wayne syndrome going on. But, you know, she certainly doesn't wallow in the past. I mean, she's doing her best to overcome the traumas and abuses of the past. And believe me, she has been through it all. And again, the show is so gradually and slowly teasing out those secrets and mysteries of her past, and even who she was before some of the traumatic incidents that have made her who she is today. We get to see little flashbacks that are woven in throughout the different episodes to kind of give us more perspective on the multifaceted character of Jessica Jones. So she's a woman of skills. You know, she's not hiding, but she's not advertising, is what she says, essentially. And again, it makes it so exciting when we get to see her in action, because they're not constantly throwing bad guys and thugs at her to beat to a pulp, and, you know, they're not constantly doing that. So it makes you yearn for those moments where you really get to see her bust out and break free and show what she's got. You know, it's really cool. So what she does by profession is she is a PI. She's a private investigator, and a lot of what she does is goes and tries to hunt down infidels, people who are, you know, cheating on their spouses or going around and doing shady shenanigans. She catches them in the act, and she gives the sponsoring party proof of the shenanigans, gets her paycheck, moves on. This is the way that she helps the world that she's in, and it is sure as hell shitty work. There's not a lot of love to be found in that department, but this is the way that she uses her power. She uses her insights, her intellect, her wit. You know, she doesn't mince words. She says precisely what she thinks. She is very insightful. She is very tricky, extremely cunning, and yet deep down extremely caring as well. Her best friend is a childhood star and current talk show host, Trish Walker. So extremely different people, but their paths are very much intertwined with each other, and they find themselves both facing a common enemy who targets both of them in different ways. One of Jessica's apartment mates, neighbors, is a guy named Malcolm, major drug addict, and yet she does her best to pick up after him, make sure that he's not walking in the wrong apartment and eating other people's peanut butter. So, you know, just there are different ways in which she gets to demonstrate the fact that she's not a terrible person and is in fact extremely caring. And then she kind of works with and gets cases from a big-time New York lawyer by the name of Jerry Hogarth, who is in the midst of a divorce situation with her wife and lots of other shenanigans. There's a very colorful cast of characters that we get here. The dialogue is so well written. Everything is so well-written, and fabulously constructed. I mean, the pacing is incredible. It's precisely made for binge watching. That is the best means by which to consume the show, because each episode is like a chapter in a book. You know, it's not a self-contained unit in which they have to constantly have all these crazy cliffhangers of the same kind. I mean, it's just once you're up in the story and it just wraps you in, you have to keep going. It becomes your lifeblood. Now, this, of course, leads me to bringing up the main villain of the series, who is named Kilgrave. He is the Purple Man from Marvel Comics, played by the one and only David Tennant, one of the most beloved doctors from the world of Doctor Who. So it's very exciting to see him in this kind of sinister role, and believe me, he is horrifying on every possible level. I mean, just seeing the way that he operates, it is incredibly off the charts alarming. It makes you feel paranoid in your own day-to-day life watching what this guy does and how he messes with others' heads. And that is his MO. It's the fact that he can get inside of somebody's skull with just enough physical proximity to them. He can make you do anything, say anything, do his bidding, and yet you are conscious. You are conscious of the fact that you are being told to do things and that your desires have shifted, that your will has shifted, that it has become somebody else's plaything. Your agency is gone. Your voice is no longer your own. And yet, what Kilgrave does is he instills within you these feelings. He compels you to do what he says because you want to. So it's not like he just takes over somebody's mind and they're like, whoa, what happened? Where am I? What's going on? No, you remember afterwards. You remember wanting those things that he made you do. And he makes people do the most reprehensible, abhorrent things that are all of which are aimed at traumatizing Jessica Jones and drawing her into his presence. It's a vicious cat and mouse game of just unprecedented proportions. And so the central themes of this show are very much those of finding one's will, of identity. Identity is huge in this show. Pain and trauma and memory and choice in acting and not fleeing. That is something that Jessica faces constantly. Like, how is she able to fight someone who can overtake her will, who can overtake the will of everyone around her? Oh, and by the way, I didn't mention a certain other major character who's going to be getting his own show soon, that being Luke Cage. And Luke Cage and Jessica Jones are both very gifted people. Of course, while she is in PI work, he is a bartender at a local dive that Jessica likes to frequent, and the two of them become enmeshed. I keep using intertwined and enmeshed and in this and that, and I'm sorry. My vocabulary is a little bit cyclic right now. But yeah, the two of them get together in certain ways of speaking. And Jessica has a revelation that their pasts are more interlinked than it would first appear. And all of it relates back to Kilgrave and what he's doing and what he wants. Yeah, so that's just the show in a nutshell. But the dynamic between Jessica Jones and Kilgrave it's very much reminiscent of like the Hannibal Will Graham relationship from NBC's Hannibal. It is so breathtaking. It gets in your head. Like there is so much humor, so much tragedy and devastation. I mean, this show runs the emotional gamut. It hits on every possible level. Long and the short of it is, I can't recommend this show enough. I guess I'm not really going to get into too many spoilers here. I think that I'll save that for when I do my full season review, which will be coming in addition to a little review of Twin Peaks and Life is Strange, the video game, but I had to get some of my feelings out there because I'm shaking in my boots. This is the scariest, most beautiful show I have seen in forever. go and witness and let it flow through you. And I will be back with another review as soon as possible. So y'all take care. And as always, I will be back before you know it.